Well, I'm delighted that Eleftherotypia is back in business. A hiatus of more than a year is a lot in the history of not only a newspaper, but also in the history of a readership. You tend to lose old routines and old ways of procuring news. And so much more delightful is the fact that you're back in business. Any culture needs a variety of papers coming from different political angles and from different corners of the political spectrum. And Eleftherotypia, with its illustrious history, obviously belongs to the Greek media scene. Well, the times are darker in Greece than they are in Sweden, although the Swedish welfare state, such as we used to know it, and such as it somehow was formed in the minds of foreigners arriving in Sweden in the 60s and 70s. So many Greeks came at the time, people from Yugoslavia, people from Turkey and other places, in order to work in this model society. This society doesn't exist any longer. It was privatized, massively privatized in the early 90s. And I think that people are not really aware of the extent to which we in Sweden have changed societal model. What this means for the future, I'm not entirely sure. Sweden has gone through the drastic measures that some European countries are only facing up to today. We became more compatible, if you wish, with the sort of market-oriented global economy earlier than most other European countries. I don't know if that's something that one should be proud of in Sweden, because a lot of children were thrown out with the water in the bathtubs at the time, but that's the situation at the moment. I'm a little reluctant to diagnose the Greek situation not being in the country at the moment. I visit all the time and I try to keep in touch with what is going on. My sense is that obviously many things went wrong in Greece, but perhaps the core even of the current malaise, societal malaise in Greece, has to do with something that hasn't really changed. And that is the fact that as a society, Greece is of recent vintage. It only goes back 200 years. And with the oppressions that you've had to deal with over so many centuries, with the Turkish or Ottoman occupation, with the two world wars, with the Germans, with the Bulgarians, with the junta, and so on and so forth, you've really never developed what Sweden, in a sense, has had the chance of doing, having been deprived of wars for the two last centuries, namely trust in a civil society. You never really developed the trust that is needed in a state for it to actually flourish. In other words, the state was always only there in order to be exploited or to be resisted. If you want to have a functional state, a state which is based on the trust that you put in it by paying taxes, well, you have to develop a different sense. And I think that this is what to some measure at least, has put Greece in the current situation. I certainly know that when you're in dire straits, you tend to see things both more realistically and more sarcastically. I think that the situation at the moment in Greece is such that the European Union cannot really, with any idea of sort of success, let go of the country. You won't be forced out of the euro, I don't think. That's not in the interest of the big players in Europe, Germany or France. However, I don't think one should be too idealistic about the motives behind this. Clearly, Greece is such a small economy, and the status it has is more of what should I say, of symbolical kind than real political clout. that it could easily be left out of the euro without any sort of damage done to the union. However, one doesn't know what the repercussions would be, and this is really the reason why I think that Greece has been kept within the union for so long now, for so many months now of the current crisis. What this bodes for the future, I can't really tell. I think that part of the slowness with which this crisis has been solved, or is on its way of being solved, has to do with the German elections. Germany has elections in the fall. It's a question of domestic policy, how to go about saving, as Germans tend to call it, saving the union. And people are very, very careful not to commit too much in order to be able to win the elections in the fall. Clearly, I think everyone agrees, even many Germans in positions of power or influence, that had this crisis been dealt with more aggressively at the inception of it, or a year or two into the current crisis, we wouldn't be in the current situation.